We're counting down 10 pieces of evidence connecting the oldest written story in human history to a sealed chamber that may still lie buried beneath the Iraqi desert. From 4,000-year-old clay tablets to ground-penetrating radar anomalies, from a Victorian-era breakthrough to a modern war that froze everything. Each entry tightens an investigative chain no one has fully explained, starting at number 10, with the ancient text that launched it all. In the 10th place, the earliest surviving fragments of the Epic of Gilgamesh set the foundation for this entire investigation. Clay tablets unearthed at Nippur and Uruk, inscribed in Sumerian cuneiform and dated by radiocarbon and stratigraphic methods to around 2100 BCE, represent the oldest known literary narrative in human history. These texts predate not only the later Akkadian Standard Version by centuries, but also the earliest written forms of the biblical flood story. The independent Sumerian tradition preserved in these tablets demonstrates that the legend of Gilgamesh was already established long before later myths and religions drew from its themes. The sheer antiquity of these artifacts transforms what might be dismissed as legend into a documented cultural memory, anchoring the epic within a historical reality that would echo through millennia. Number 9 marks a turning point in the modern understanding of ancient texts. In December 1872, George Smith, a British museum assistant with no formal classical education, stunned the Victorian world by translating a cuneiform tablet from Nineveh that described a great flood, centuries older than the biblical account in Genesis. The clay tablet, dating to around 2600 BCE, contained details that echoed the Noah story, including a divinely sent deluge and a hero who survives in a boat. When Smith realized what he was reading, he reportedly leapt up and ran around the room in excitement. His translation not only proved that Mesopotamian literature shaped later religious traditions, but also sparked a wave of public fascination with ancient Near Eastern texts. This event established a direct link between cuneiform scholarship and the origins of world mythology, setting the stage for the search for historical truths hidden within ancient stories. 8th place belongs to the Sumerian king list's entry for Gilgamesh, which provides the first concrete link between myth and historical record. Inscribed on clay prisms such as Tablet K 2067, this administrative document details a sequence of rulers in the city of Uruk, listing Gilgamesh as the 5th king after the Great Flood. The king list assigns him a reign of 126 years, a span that blends legendary exaggeration with plausible dynastic succession. Dated to around 2700 BCE, the king list anchors Gilgamesh within a lineage of rulers supported by archaeological evidence, shifting his story from pure epic to a position inside a verifiable political chronology. This administrative context legitimizes the search for physical traces and marks the point where literature and history begin to converge. Number 7 introduces one of the most enigmatic passages in ancient literature, a claim from the Epic of Gilgamesh that Gilgamesh himself sealed a record of his knowledge deep within the foundations of Uruk. The text describes the king diverting a river, constructing a chamber beneath the city's walls, and locking away a tablet inscribed with his wisdom. This level of architectural detail is rare in epic poetry, where myth and metaphor usually dominate. The wording in Tablet 4 draws attention to the act of encasing a lapis lazuli tablet, not just as a symbolic gesture, but as a deliberate act of preservation, suggesting a physical deposit beneath the city. The specificity of the passage, mentioning a sealed chamber and a hidden record, has motivated generations of archaeologists to search for such a deposit. Unlike typical mythical tales, this narrative links literature directly to a potential archaeological target, setting the stage for modern efforts to locate what might lie beneath Uruk's ancient walls. Number 6 brings the investigation from legend to the physical world through the practice of Mesopotamian foundation deposits. Archaeological excavations at Uruk, Eridu, and Kish reveal that it was standard for builders to bury ritual objects, jars of barley, copper amulets, and fragments of lapis lazuli inside the walls and gates of temples and city fortifications. These deposits were not accidental. They were carefully sealed within the lowest brick courses, often at key points like the Mosaic Gate of Uruk, where a pit yielded a ceramic jar containing a copper amulet and a thin slice of polished lapis lazuli. The presence of lapis lazuli in these caches echoes the Epic of Gilgamesh's claim that a tablet of wisdom was hidden within the city's foundations. While no inscribed tablet has been recovered, the material evidence confirms that the act of sealing precious objects within architecture was a real and repeated ritual. This convergence of text and archaeology creates a direct precedent for the possibility of a sealed record, bridging the gap between ancient narrative and the search for physical proof beneath Uruk's walls. Number 5 introduces a modern breakthrough in the search for Uruk's secrets. In early 2003, a German-led team deployed ground-penetrating radar along a 5-kilometer transect in the southern Iraqi desert, aiming to probe beneath the ancient canal network near Uruk. Using a 400 MHz antenna, the survey generated continuous three-dimensional imaging to a depth of over 2 meters. The results revealed a pronounced subsurface anomaly, a rectangular reflector measuring 12 by 8 meters, centered at approximately 2.2 meters below the surface. This feature produced high-amplitude, hyperbolic reflections, signatures consistent with a man-made structure rather than a natural void. The anomaly's location, directly adjacent to a paleochannel known to have been diverted in antiquity, matched the coordinates described in the text for a sealed chamber beneath the city. For the first time, scientific instrumentation supplied measurable dimensions and a precise target, transforming a literary tradition into a tangible archaeological lead. Number 4 brings the closest alignment yet between ancient text and modern technology. In early 2003, a German-led team used ground-penetrating radar to scan beneath the ancient canal beds near Uruk. Their survey revealed a rectangular subsurface anomaly about 12 by 8 meters, positioned directly beside a paleochannel known to have been artificially diverted in antiquity. This detail resonates with the Epic of Gilgamesh, which describes the king's burial chamber as sealed beneath a river diverted for the purpose. The anomaly's high-amplitude, hyperbolic radar reflections were consistent with a man-made structure, not a natural void. Later, a 2019 L-band SAR satellite study and a 2021 drone radar survey independently confirmed the same feature at similar depths, strengthening the case for a real chamber matching the Epic's account. For a moment, the convergence of literature, archaeology, and remote sensing kindled optimism that a legendary tomb might truly lie beneath Uruk's sands. Coming to the top 3, the momentum built by scientific discovery met an abrupt and irreversible obstacle on March 20, 2003, just as the German-led team prepared to open test pits at the radar-identified anomaly near Uruk. The US-led invasion of Iraq began. The Deutsches Archäologisches Institut had secured excavation permits and scheduled fieldwork for the summer, but within days, all archaeological operations were suspended. Security deteriorated rapidly, forcing the team to evacuate and the Iraqi authorities to revoke all foreign permits in the region. Equipment was packed away, and the prospect of directly investigating the subsurface chamber, so tantalizingly close after years of preparation, vanished overnight. The planned excavation, which might have confirmed or refuted the ancient narrative of a sealed tomb beneath Uruk, became impossible. In a single week, the intersection of geopolitics and science froze the investigation indefinitely, transforming a moment of optimism into a lingering historical tragedy. Number 2 brings the story to one of the most devastating blows to historical research and living memory, the looting of the Iraq Museum on April 9, 2003. As Baghdad fell, the institution safeguarding over 170,000 artifacts from Mesopotamia's earliest cities was left unprotected. In the chaos, approximately 15,000 items vanished, including irreplaceable cuneiform tablets, royal cylinder seals, and objects from Uruk, Akkad, and Babylon. Forensic investigation led by Colonel Matthew Bogdanos later revealed 2 distinct patterns of theft. The first was opportunistic, with smashed display cases, hurried grabs, and indiscriminate destruction. The second was far more deliberate. Thieves with apparent knowledge of the museum's layout bypassed public galleries to breach the basement vaults, targeting cataloged masterpieces and rare administrative tablets. This loss not only stripped the world of tangible heritage, but also obliterated the contextual data that researchers rely on to reconstruct ancient history. The theft patterns documented by Bogdanos underscored the scale of the tragedy, a blow to comparative research that may never be fully repaired. And finally, in first place, the greatest unanswered question still lies sealed beneath the ancient ground of Uruk. After decades of speculation, scientific surveys, and literary analysis, the site identified by ground-penetrating radar in 2003 remains untouched, a silent witness to 4,000 years of history. The anomaly, A rectangular chamber beneath a diverted riverbed at the city's gate matches the dimensions and location described in the Epic of Gilgamesh, where the king is said to have locked away his wisdom on a lapis lazuli tablet deep within the city's walls. Archaeologists have opened other foundation deposits in Mesopotamia, finding barley, copper amulets, even fragments of lapis lazuli, but the specific gate section over this subsurface structure has never been excavated. Since the outbreak of war in 2003, all foreign permits for excavation at Uruk have been suspended. The site falls within a restricted protection zone, and ongoing security concerns, ranging from unexploded ordnance to intermittent conflict, have kept both Iraqi and international teams away. Remote sensing imagery from the past 2 decades shows no surface disturbance, no sign that the deposit has been looted or explored. The legal authority for any future work rests with the Iraqi Directorate of Antiquities, which continues to list the anomaly as off-limits, citing unresolved risks and the need for stabilization. For now, the chamber remains an enigma, neither confirmed nor disproven, its contents undisturbed. The possibility that a lapis lazuli tablet, inscribed with the oldest wisdom of the world's first city, still lies hidden beneath Uruk's ancient walls leaves the story suspended between legend and reality. The enduring mystery is not just what might be found, but what it means that for all our science and scholarship, some secrets of the past remain literally out of reach. Across every link, from the Epic of Gilgamesh's ancient flood narrative to radar evidence beneath Uruk and the tragic halt of excavation in 2003, one pattern stands out: knowledge survives, but access is fragile. The real mystery is not what was written, it is what remains just out of reach.